Smith Falls Police Service Board for February 12, 2025. I'll open the meeting with our land acknowledgement. On February 12, 2025, we acknowledge that the sacred land on which Smith Falls is now located has been a site of human activity for over 10,000 years and its rich Indigenous history. This land is the ancestral and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. We're grateful to the Algonquin ancestors who cared for the land and water in order that we might be here today. We're also grateful to the Algonquin people for their contribution in the making of the Rideau Canal, which runs through Smith Falls. We're mindful of broken covenants and the need to reconcile with all our relations. Together, may we care for this land and each other, drawing on strength of our mutual history of nation building through peace and friendship, and being mindful of generations to come. I have no remarks of my own to open the meeting. Chief, do you have any comments?
I just want to acknowledge the death of Chief William Bill Stalker, passed away on Friday. We did put an acknowledgement as well on our Facebook page and spoke to his son, Randy. But Chief Stalker always had great stories to tell. I personally never worked with him, but he stayed in touch, even with myself from the beginning and right through to when I was promoted to chief. So he's always been a resource to a lot of us. He's been a mentor to a lot of the retired officers that have worked the ranks with Chief Stalker. So we'll honor his legacy on February 18th at his funeral. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any additions to the agenda?
Just we need to add item C to approve the in-camera minutes. That wasn't added on our agenda.
Okay, in-camera item C.
Yep.
Minutes. I'm going to actually add as well item D for in-camera, contractual, identifiable individuals. Motion for approval of the agenda. It's carried. Moved by Chris and Chris. Second by Chris. Okay. Consideration for the minutes of the previous meeting on January 15th. Moved by Chris, seconded by Chris. All in favor. Business arising. Whoops. Declaration of interest. Seeing none. Okay, so we're going to make a motion to move in camera. The Smith Falls Police Service Board move in camera to discuss items pertaining to the intimate financial or personal matters for which, or other matters may be disclosed of such a nature having regard to circumstances of the desirability of avoiding their disclosure in the interest of any person affected or in public interest outweighs the desirability of adhering to the principle that proceedings be open to the public in accordance with Section 44 of the Community Safety and Policing Act. Moved by Chris, seconded by Chris. All in favor? We're going to move in camera.
Where's Chris Cuttle? Let's get you to daycare quick. Off this
Oh,
week?
he's in Jamaica.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
See ya. High five, girl. Have fun today.
You know, things weren't
Thank
really
you
working
so
until she
much,
went
Sean.
in there. Right?
Yeah, as soon as she went in there, it was all
Yeah, it was fine after that. So.
Yeah.
Your teach right here.
Thank you. We're back in open session. We have some business arising from the previous meeting. Chief, the 2024 budget monitor.
So, the 2025, you mean, for January?
We have 2024,
Oh.
almost 2020, sorry,
Typo,
2025. That's
Yeah,
mistake,
they're just finishing up 2024, but 2025 for January. The budget monitor, obviously just getting started. It looks like council's going to approve the budgets, just have the final meeting on February 18th, but there was obviously, the budget being high this year for policing, there was a lot of questions asked, and I certainly was available at all the meetings in case there was more questions, and spoke to the council members as well. For January, there is nothing out of the ordinary. For complex maintenance, however, I'm going to have to put some money into our heating. We're having issues with the heating in the building, and some areas that have been noted some discrepancy. There's another company the town's gone with that has done a fulsome. We've always had issues in the building. It's either freezing or it's hot in certain areas, so there is another company that the town's using that they've found some problems, especially where our garage area is, that's having issues with the heating. So that's going to be repaired. Still have had issues with the generator that's there at the building. There's going to be some repairs to that. That was a few $100s that's coming. And then I think I've mentioned before about plumbing in the building. That's always been an issue since the retrofit happened. And it's more from where the men's bathroom is. And what happens if we don't clean it out every couple of months, there's raw sewage that comes up from the pipes in the men's change room and flows right into our ident room and the hallways, and obviously not a good workplace to have that happen. So one of the recommendations, I've had several plumbing companies come in, and one of the recommendations the town brought another company in was to put these better toilets in the men's change room to really push it through the pipes, because whatever's happening, it's getting stuck how it goes through the system. I'm not a plumber, but I do know that there's been issues, and we've spent thousands of dollars preventative maintenance. I went through the last 3 years of budgets for plumbing, and we were about $10,000 just in the preventative maintenance to try and keep the pipes clear so that sewage backup doesn't happen. And it still has happened in the past. So hopefully this is going to fix some of the problems without being into unbelievable pricing to get the pipes fixed or looked at. So that's the complex maintenance repair. And then for my grant revenue, I'm assuming elections are having a toll on us hearing back. I applied for the victim support grant back in October, beginning of November. The money's supposed to be spent by March, end of March. Still haven't heard anything about the grant. I have been asking, and I'm hoping to hear later this week if we're successful with that grant. The NG 911 I mentioned before, so I was able to take IT support that I budgeted for in 2025 and using it with that grant funding that I was able to get for NG 911. So that took the budget line down, as well as I dropped the overtime budget down to $70,000. Again, it's not ideal. If we have major cases or major illness or something happens, that will go up, but I'll keep the board posted, obviously monthly, as to how our overtime budget is. But that did help the overall tax levy for the town to get it at least down to 19%. So nothing has been purchased yet. However, we are having issues with the potential tariff that could be coming, and that's going to really affect the automobile industry. So the pressure is on now for cruisers. Now, I was low in my capital budget line. I did put $60,000, but for our last cruiser, we were close to 70. So I would like the board's permission to increase my capital for the cruiser. However, it's not going to affect our capital lines on the other capital expenditures that we have. The ALPRs came in at, the quote is 52,000. I had asked for 60. The helmets are going to be at least half of what I asked for, probably less than 10 instead of 20. So if I have permission, I'd like to go to council to at least indicate that I am going to go higher in the capital for the cruiser, because I have a bad feeling that in 2026 line, that's going to be a lot more expensive to get a car. So I was thinking about deferring it for a year, but I don't want to do that because I think we're going to be in a different situation in 2026 if this tariff threat passes. So that's what I'd like to propose to the board to do, but it's not going to affect any of our capital lines because of the decrease in the other infrastructure.
Questions or comments?
You don't need, she doesn't technically need council approval for that. Well, that's,
Well, just until the budget's approved.
oh, I see.
But I think if you have, that should be approved. First and second reading will happen next week. Third reading will be 2 weeks later. So we're a few weeks, like 2.5 weeks from being formally approved. But I think it's direction today to advance and move it. I guess probably move ahead with the purchase of a new cruiser. And then to maybe just talk to our treasurer to see if.
Yeah, I will. And if I have to go to the February 18th meeting to explain that to council, I can. So,
Yeah. I think it's probably wise to move quicker rather than later on.
yeah.
On that.
Yeah. So rest assured, there's going to be no increase anywhere. In fact, it'll be decreased in the capital. So it's not going to affect anything more than what I've already proposed, except for it'll go above budget on the capital for the cruiser. However, we're going to be significantly below in the capital for the other, but this one is the priority. So,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
So I guess into the operational report.
All right. So the deputy chief is away. He'll be back tomorrow, but he put together the report prior to being on holidays. So for the month of January, we responded to 624 calls for service. Overall, we had 72 criminal charges were laid. 29 arrests were made in those charges. We had 19 intimate partner violence cases, 7 assaults. He wanted to really reflect on the family disputes as well as adding that to a report because we seem to have quite a bit of family disputes that happen that we have to deal with, whether, it's a child or if it's a partner or somebody in the family. It's not a domestic, but it's family issues that we have sometimes, arguing among siblings, adult siblings living together. So he noted an increase in those calls. And a lot of those get referred to MCERT. If there's mental health, if there's addiction, because in the family disputes, oftentimes that's what we're seeing. 7 bail violations, 2 sexual assaults were reported, 1 drug offenses, and 3 mischief calls were down from 8 in December. One of the things that I did take away when I was doing the budget was the Health IM app. I found it was quite expensive and not being utilized by the hospitals that they should be. So we still are going to collect our data. I'm just looking at a more cost-efficient way of doing it than Health IM. Health IM was about $16,000 a year. And so in order for me to cut some things in my budget, that was the first thing that I cut. Because in speaking to MCERT staff and speaking to the officers, the hospitals aren't even looking at it. They're too busy to even look at these forms that they're supposed to get before the person comes to the hospital. And the information that we're giving to MCERT is the same information that would have gone through this Health IM. So I've reached out to a couple of people with a cheaper app to see if this will work for us. And I'll get back to the board next month, but that was one thing that I took away. We had 12 calls, 8% apprehension rate, and an hour and 6 average wait time. December showed a decrease in mental health, down from 43. So and our apprehensions were down. So I have noticed that we had a decrease in that in January too. We didn't have a lot of people at the hospital. That's our biggest issue, is if they go to the hospital, because right now the hospitals are overwhelmed, as people probably know, with the wait times that they've had. Collisions, we had 16 collisions, and complaints were down from 38 to 26 traffic complaints, but we had 109 vehicle stops. So a lot of proactive traffic. Again, more staff means we can work on the traffic enforcement, up from 84, and we had 75 traffic-related charges laid. So speeding, stop signs, failing to yield, driver under suspension, careless driving, handheld devices. So the deputy was quite happy to see the progress of the officers. I know we had meetings with everybody going forward for the new year, and really having that proactive approach, especially with the traffic enforcement, due to the complaints that we're getting in our
So
community.
that's up considerably.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
More than double, I think.
Yep.
Good.
7 criminal charges are laid in related to traffic stops, which again, that's proactive policing. You stop a car, you find out that they're, in breach of an undertaking. They're obstructing police officer. Usually they're lying to you about who they are, giving false identification, theft under, failing to comply with their release order or probation. So for example, if they're on a curfew and they get stopped at 2:00 in the morning, then they're going to get breached for being in violation of their bail or probation. So you do get a lot of criminal activity as well when you stop vehicles. So proactive policing still with foot patrol, we're at almost 40 hours. So January of 2024, we only had 13 hours. So we've really increased our foot patrol activity. I don't know, we're probably going to need snowshoes or skis in the next couple of days because it's sounding nasty. 25 hours at the school, 25 hours community service, and we've launched our directed foot patrol. So special constables and constables go to local businesses, showing incidents of theft. So kind of giving that local businesses some feedback on thefts and what we're seeing and maybe how to prevent it, whether it's security cameras in their stores or whether it's being very proactive and calling the police right away if you have a theft. There's been businesses that I've gone into that they've told me, oh, I had a bunch of clothes stolen or I've had this stolen, and they didn't report it. I say, why don't you report that to us? Like, that's important because we need to know if there's someone that's grabbing items and coming, especially our small businesses, to shop local, and we want to make sure that people aren't stealing from them. So giving them that support and to be successful, as well as reducing these targeted businesses and giving them the support that they need to prevent especially the shoplifting. Our step for January was distracted driving and handheld devices. We had 3 charges, 3 warnings were issued, but for February it'd be winter driving safely. So looking at cars that are following too close, excessive speeding or obstructive view. So people that don't clean off their cars, the windshields and the front, that go drive with like this much visibility with all the snow. Our CIB branch, we still are the lead for the missing person Bertram file. I mean, not a day goes by. We do not talk about this file. We do not think about the family, especially to his poor mom. And we do want to do everything we can to help settle this out. So, that's assisted with us with the CIB, with OPP. We're focused our investigation on local drug activity, ongoing support of our front line with drug seizures that they're doing, and complex investigations. So they were support. So if our front line gets a vehicle stop with a bunch of drugs in the vehicle, then our CIB take over and help them. 2 of our officers did the RAPIS drone deployment to assist, and that's kind of a neat thing to watch. Is we're utilizing the drone. So part of a grant I had last year, I bought a drone for the officers to utilize. So it's also used for officer safety. So you take the drone if you're going to arrest someone. That drone goes in first. takes a look around the area to make sure that there's no safety issues for the officers, and even has been good during an arrest. They've put the drone right there, so it's if there's any complaints or anything with an arrest, they have the evidence of the drone. We've done a lot of training. We'll give you the course outload at the end of this, and the CI course as well that they're involved in. Continuing investigation. There's a significant credit card fraud that the CIB is investigating, and an arson one as well that they're working with the fire marshal still. Armed robbery files. So there was an armed robbery at the Circle K. There was a search warrant executed for evidence, but the investigation is ongoing with that. There has been evidence that has been seized that links to the person that did it. So we're just waiting to hear back from Center of Forensic Science. That takes a while. Assisting Frontline with domestic and a child abuse investigation, and a fraud workshop, which is good for our CIB to be involved in, and knowing what the new scams are and how to let our public know as well. Our community service officer did several school visits, assisted Food Hub with an Ottawa Senators fundraising hockey game promotion, the Special Olympics Donut Day with our Special Olympics athletes, did a lot of our property crime and doing the evidence room, and did some frontline shifts, as well as he's also involved in our radar and LiDAR training that he's doing. He's also helping CP police, so they're coming to our office for radar and LiDAR training as well, which is great to offer that training to them. And that just kind of gives you an idea how many criminal records checks we do. That is not included in our stats, our records management stats. And what else? And here's a list of some of the courses that, actually all the courses that we had officers on, which again, more staffing means we can get our officers trained. So the sexual assault investigator, the new I-9000 breath test requal, we had to have them do that. Domestic violence course, and the CI course, and the first response social media course as well. I have a civilian that's doing a lot of our social media. He's a dispatcher, but he's amazing with presentations. I think he helped the deputy put this one together. I'm going to use him for our annual report, so it's no cost because I have the support internally. He's great at putting things together. So we had him do a course as well for that. And again, hopefully if this victim support grant goes through, a lot of my training to do with sexual assault, domestic violence, that'll be part of that grant. We welcomed Officer Carl Mayer in January. He's from Toronto Police, came here, settled with his family. He's a great addition to our service. He's SFST trained, but also drug recognition officer, and has a lot of other specialties. And then just to highlight, snapshot, of course, that rescue that you all heard about, January 10th. It was an amazing rescue to watch, and have it on video. It was an amazing training opportunity for a lot of people to see and what the fire service does and with their rescues. So each of our cruisers have the upgraded ice water life-saving devices now in our cars since this incident, so that we could throw out to people that are trapped in ice until the fire department gets there. And I think that is it. That's the January report.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
So it takes a long time to get forensic information.
It does. It's not like TV.
Normally
It
it's only
is
60
not like
minutes, so-
TV. It takes months. It takes months. But you know what? We've got some pretty sharp, from what my understanding is, the snow removal, public works guys too saw a person flee on a bike from the store. And so when they saw the police at the store, they in turn called the police service. So helped out a lot in tracking where that person went. And so kudos to them. And I was going to reach out to Paul McMunn as well, because you never know, right, who's watching. And we always, get help from the public that, they happen to be driving around a certain time of night, see something kind of strange, and wonder what it is. But this guy, when they saw that and they saw the police, they went over and said, we saw where this person headed to. So I think it'll just be a matter of some support from the Center of Forensic Science. But yeah, no, it's not like TV. In 5 minutes you can get those results, unfortunately. Yeah.
And
So good month.
so I think our
Yeah.
next meeting is 4 weeks from today, I believe.
Yeah, when's our next
March
week?
12th.
Yeah,
Oh, March. Yeah, March 12th.
for a month this month. Okay, any motion for adjournment? Moved by Chris, seconded by Chris. All in favor? Thank you, everyone. We're adjourned.